Don, you never show us the 1 Series anymore. It's about damn time, huh? Taking this little thing out for a drive, show day. Let's go. Oh, E92's still here. Not sold. Wonder why. All right, about to piss off the neighbors. My bad. Unlike the E92, 1 Series is not valved. But it's not too bad. It's not too bad. Good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Ooh, it's an early one, boys and girls, but that's all right. Haven't been to a car show in a minute. Figured let's take the oneer out. So it's pretty early. I'm gonna meet up with the boys about a half an hour out from here. And we're gonna head to this car show. Should be pretty dope, or maybe it won't be. I haven't really been going to car shows lately. I don't know why. Just kind of like got out of the mood of going to car shows. They kind of just get stale after a while. So you just keep seeing the same stuff. So I gotta give myself breaks, and then I'll start going back to them. It is Saturday. You guys probably saw the video where we had the E92 for sale. Listed it up for sale. Well, I didn't really list it up for sale. I just made the video on the car going up for sale. And, oh man, you guys are gonna laugh, but I sort of got cold feet. The day after I made that video, I went into the shop and we had a slower day, so I just decided to work on the car. And I had a bunch of parts that I hadn't thrown on, and I was like, well, if I'm gonna sell it, I should like put some of the things on that I have here just for the new owner or whatever. So I did like the universal flex disc, I did the center support bearing and carrier, I did the shift shaft seal, and I also did the shifter bushing. And man, yeah, it just made such a big difference in the car. And like the car drives so good, I kind of got cold feet on selling it. And I came to the realization that I'm like, I really don't like need to sell this car, the E92 M3. I should probably just keep it, because I'm just not at that point yet, man. It's tough, because some days I'm like, I don't really need it, like I should just get rid of it. And then some days I'm like, I don't really need to get rid of it. Why am I getting rid of it? I might regret it. So I don't know, dude. I'm kind of like in this predicament. I think for now I'm just gonna hold on to it. And at least until like the new car shows up and we start working on that. Yeah, ultimately I just got cold feet. I had a ton of offers from you guys, like DMs and emails for days, even over what I was asking, which honestly I kind of expected. I thought that like what the price that I put out there, 28K, was like a very fair price, and people were definitely willing to pay more. So it kind of tells you like how crazy the market is right now in that car. But yeah, ultimately I just figured, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna hold on to it for now. Ultimately, the thing is with a car like that, these older BMWs, if you want to buy an older BMW, the mileage isn't really the biggest deal. I mean, it does matter, but like the biggest deal is the age of the car. And the reason I say that is because bushings just go bad with age. Same thing with vacuum hoses. And so you can have like a lower mileage car, but even if it hasn't been driven much, age of the vehicle will still show. So a lot of times when you buy older cars, you just have to replace so many things, if you're like me, to get it to the point where it drives really well. And you know, I drove that car the other day. It just drives so good. The only things that I haven't touched are in the rear area, you know, like the rear subframe bushings, rear trailing arm bushings, rear control arm bushings, which I am gonna do. And so I've decided that that's just gonna be like my next little project, is drop the rear subframe and sort of sort out the rear end. But everything else has been taken care of. It's been, you know, replaced with OEM parts. So it's like, to me, it's really valuable. It's more valuable than, like, say, if I were to sell it and try to find another one down the road. And I hate to do that, because it's like, man, I had that whole video about selling it and people were getting excited to buy it, and I feel bad about that. And I don't want to be like wishy-washy with you guys. But I'm just sharing my thoughts and my feelings as we go here. I'm just trying to be authentic, you know what I mean? And everyone changes their minds. It's normal, man. So I decided for now I'm gonna keep it. I think that's a good decision. Like, I'm okay with it for now, and if I decide to sell it down the road, I can always sell it. so much construction in Charlotte, I may or may not have lost a part of my lip. I don't know. I'll find out when I get out of the car. But man, the roads, some of the roads in Charlotte, in the downtown area, are just fucking trash. You gotta go further out. Once you go further out, man, the roads are beautiful. You get towards the mountains, gorgeous. The city's a wreck. Coming up on 3 minutes out from our destination. So the turbos on this car are the Mosselman twins, and I've got to say, they have done really well. Like, since we've built this car, these turbos have been fantastic, and I've had zero issues with them. However, for Beamer Invasion, as you guys know, I'm changing a lot of stuff on this car, and so I'm doing a single top mount setup with a precision turbo, and we'll get into all the details when I actually show you guys what we put on, but it's gonna be sick. And yeah, dude, I'm excited for that. It's gonna look so crazy in the engine bay. The only thing that I don't think I'll have ready for Beamer Invasion is the E90, the E9X rear subframe, just because of the amount of work that it takes to do that. And sourcing the subframe has been a little bit difficult. You gotta find one for the manual 135, you gotta find a DCT diff, and then I already have the drive shaft and everything. I just need the rear subframe and the axles and the brakes and all that shit. So still trying to source a bunch of shit, but yeah, man, it's gonna be dope, dude. I got a couple other little things that I'm doing on this car before then, and I might switch up the wheels too. So we'll see. It's gonna be a whole new look. Crew, man. Woo, some sick cars. Sick cars. Champagne quartz. Beautiful. We're about to leave the show. Honestly, show is pretty mid. So I guess we're gonna go to a spot and take some photos, do some video. Oh, fucking railroad track. Oh, Jesus. This is pretty dope. Dope little spot. Tunnels and shit. Oh, should we light this shit up, dude? time for food. Man, it is a perfect fall day. Almost 70 degrees, beautiful out. It's the perfect day to have the cars out, man. This car is gonna sound so insane with a single. It is gonna be so good. Oh, I can't wait. Oh, fuck. About to hit that traffic, boy. Music by R888R. Loudest tires, man. They're so loud. I'm gonna have to switch up the tires soon. I've got a 295/30 on the back, and it's just a little wide. So I want to go with a 285/35 so it matches the 35 profile up front. And I think that's going to be the perfect setup. However, they don't make the R888Rs in a 285/35, so I'm going to have to switch up the brand. I think I'm going to go with the Nitto NT501s. Yeah, those seem to be a little bit better in rain too. The thing about the R888Rs, dude, can't drive them at all in the rain. Like, they look cool, they perform decently, but they're just, yeah, they're not like the most. For a car that you're on the street, they're just kind of silly. Sometimes you just got to hit the express lane, man. So much easier. We just got back and it finally happened. I knew that this was gonna happen sooner or later. I was prepared for it, so it's not really that big of a shock. But remember how in the video I was talking about these 295s are a bit thick for this car. They're basically like even with the quarter, and they just tap a touch on the fiberglass flares. Well, one drawback to running fiberglass against metal, you have two different materials and you can get cracking. Look at that, you can even see the rivet through it. So I was pretty much prepared for this. You can see the ghosting of the image, or the ghosting of the flare going on up here. I basically knew that this was gonna end up happening. So this car's actually going back to the body shop just to get that smoothed out and taken care of so you can't see it for Beamer Invasion. And I am actually going with the metal flares on this car. Not even the metal flares, I'm doing the entire quarter panel. So I'm doing the real 1M OEM quarter panels from Germany. They just take like 3 months to get here. So it'll go back into the shop again, and it will be like a glass out job. They're gonna end up cutting it probably along there, along this line here, and then re-welding, and then putting that whole piece in. And then I won't have to deal with, you know, anything cracking in the future. But that is something that you have to worry about. If you're gonna do any sort of molding with fiberglass onto metal, you can run into that issue because you just have two different types of materials, and any sort of expanding or stress on it can create a problem. And as you can see, this has finally cracked. And I think it happened today. Well, I know for a fact it happened today because we went over some pretty wicked bumps, and this does tap the inside of the fiberglass flare. I did my best to shave away as much as possible to get as much clearance out of it, but at a certain point there's just only so much you can do. And I was starting to see some of the rivets come through because that paint is just going to settle in, and the thinner and thinner it gets, with the changing weather from going cold to warm to warm to cold, you're just gonna have these two materials retracting and expanding in two different ways. And eventually that's gonna happen. So a lot of my friends who have the same fiberglass flares on their 1Ms, they run into the same shit and they just keep repairing them or just deal with it down the road. But for me, I mean, the rest of this car is OEM 1M panel. I'm like, fuck it, I might as well just do the entire 1M rear quarter panel in metal, and then I just never have to worry about it again. So that will be, unfortunately, in the future. This next body shop trip is just going to be a quick one to get all of that taken care of and just smoothed over, resprayed before the Beamer Invasion show, because my metal ones will not be here in time. So it is what it is. That's part of the game. I knew that this would happen at some point, so it really didn't surprise me at all. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.